Gryffindor. Gryffindor is easily the most popular house in the entire Harry Potter universe, but despite its popularity, it's also very particular, and not everyone could be sorted here. The house was founded by Godric Gryffindor, a wizard renowned for his bravery above all else. It's one of the 4 houses at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, with red and gold as its colours and a lion as its mascot, symbolising strength and courage. The house motto, Forte Animo Estorte, roughly translates to, be of good courage. When Godric created the house, he didn't care about the particulars of a student's bloodline. It didn't really matter to him whether a kid came from a pure-blood family or had Muggle roots. What he cared about was whether they were ready to take risks. This, of course, didn't sit well with Salazar Slytherin, who was strongly opposed to Muggleborns being part of his house, and Hogwarts as a whole. The difference in their values created tension between not only the 2 founders, but also between their houses. Courage in Gryffindor's context isn't just about physical valor, it's about standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. It's about making tough decisions, sometimes at a great personal cost. Gryffindors believe that doing what is right is always superior to doing what is easy. You can see these values reflected in the house's most notable names. Take Harry Potter, for example. He risked his life more times than we can count, purely to do what was right. Saving the wizardry world from Voldemort's wasn't just his destiny, it was his choice, and he made it again and again. Harry wasn't the only one. Ron sacrificed himself in a brutal game of wizard chess. Hermione erased her parents' memories to protect them. Even Neville stood up to Voldemort when no one else would. No matter where you look in Gryffindor, you'll find courage woven into their stories. However, along with that bravery often comes a healthy dose of recklessness. Gryffindors are infamous for acting first and thinking later. Their impulsiveness can land them in messy situations, the kinds they could have easily avoided if they simply thought of the consequences. Think about the time Harry, Ron and Hermione sneaked into the Forbidden Corridor to protect the Philosopher's Stone. They were 11-year-olds fighting a 3-headed dog and navigating deadly puzzles, all without consulting a single adult. Their hearts were in the right place, but they jumped into danger headfirst without a proper plan. There are also some Gryffindors who took bravery a bit too far and turned it into arrogance or stubbornness. Take Cormac McLaggen, the overconfident keeper from Half-Blood Prince. His constant need to show off his bravery often put him and his team in difficult spots. Or Percy Weasley, whose blind ambition and overconfidence led him to disregard the people who cared about him most. So, while Gryffindor is the house of the brave, it is not without its flaws. The Sorting Hat shows students a path, but where they end up is entirely up to them. Slytherin. Slytherin often finds itself at the centre of controversies, but there is more to the house than people believe. The house was created by Salazar Slytherin and favours ambition and resourcefulness above any other trait. It features a snake painted in silver and green colours, which is fitting since the snake holds a special place in the Slytherin house. As many of you might know, Salazar Slytherin was a parcel mouth and had the ability to speak with snakes. The same trait was passed down to many Slytherins, and even to Harry because of his connection with Voldemort. Although the founder of the house fought against Muggleborns being sorted into his house, history shows that both Half-Bloods and Muggleborns have been in Slytherin. One notable name is Tom Riddle, who was born to a witch mother and a Muggle father. Even though it's not very common, Slytherins being Muggleborn is a canon concept. Unfortunately though, they are often overshadowed by those with pure blood status. In the past, people in power with Slytherin worked to promote only those with pure blood status, leaving Muggleborns in the shadows. The motto of the house is, Slytherin will help you on your way to greatness. This literally proves how much Slytherins value ambition. It is believed that people who are sorted into the house will go through any means necessary to achieve their goals. It is one of their most defining characteristics, which is why you'll find the most ambitious witches and wizards to be Slytherins. Now, ambition is often thought as a bad thing. Since many Slytherins were portrayed as evil, a lot of people started painting the entire house as a wicked one. However, the reality is far from true. Ambition does not always come from greed or the desire to be powerful. People who are sorted into Slytherin are those who do not settle for mediocrity. They want to build their own destiny and carve a path to greatness. Take a look at Snape, the most controversial man in the house. He was bullied and often cornered into isolation, but it only made him more resilient. He worked on refining his skills and rose through the ranks at Hogwarts through his own hard work. Then there was Andromeda Tonks, who didn't share her family's obsession with pure blood lineage. She was just as ambitious as any other Slytherin. She simply had different priorities. By standing up to her family, who were fixated on wealth and status, Andromeda realized early on what she truly wanted was a happy, loving life. She chose to marry a Muggle, even though it meant cutting ties with her family. But where there are good examples, there are bad ones too. There is a thin line between ambitious and the ruthless desire to be powerful after all. The very ambition that makes Slytherin so strong is also their greatest flaw, as it can sometimes shift their entire persona into a more cunning and dark nature. If that nature is not disciplined early on, Slytherins can harm others on their way to achieving their objectives. They also have this extremely harmful elitist mindset, where they think they are better than others. Because they work hard for their own success, many Slytherins often believe that they're the only ones deserving of power. This leads many of them to develop a lack of empathy for others. You'll find plenty of examples of this trait in the house. From Voldemort and Umbridge to Bellatrix and the Malfoys, they all fell to the dark side and saw others as weak. The fear they inspired is what really gave the house its bad reputation, but it also shows just how easily someone can falter when given power. Ravenclaw. The Ravenclaw house was founded by Rowena Ravenclaw, who chose people with critical thinking and intellectual capabilities for her house. Ravenclaw's symbol is an eagle painted in blue and bronze. As for their motto, it says, "Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure," which explains their deep regard for wisdom. It isn't as if the students from other houses at Hogwarts aren't smart. They are also intelligent in one way or another. However, the smartness of Ravenclaw students is a bit different. They tend to focus not just on academic excellence, but also on critical thinking. If you remember the entrance to the Ravenclaw dormitory, as mentioned in the books, the students didn't need a password to get in. Instead, they were given a question and had to answer it with reasoning every time they entered. This shows just how much they value intelligence at every step of the way. It is not only their critical thinking skills that are part of a Ravenclaw's personality, they also tend to be very creative and like to explore their thoughts in an independent way. They are deep thinkers, researchers, innovators, and even artists who look at the world a bit more profoundly. Take Luna Lovegood as an example. While a lot of people called her Loony Lovegood, she was incredibly smart and emotionally intelligent for her age. However, while there were good Ravenclaws, there were also bad ones who misused their traits and fell onto the wrong path. You might remember Gilderoy Lockhart from the Chamber of Secrets. He was an intelligent man, but he used his abilities to manipulate others for fame. He had a savior complex and a need to be the showstopper. This led him to take shortcuts to popularity, even if it meant dishonoring his integrity. This is a classic example of how even a Ravenclaw might go astray and fall onto the wrong path. Hufflepuff. Most people think of Hufflepuff as the loyal underdogs, but there is more to the house than meets the eye. Helga Hufflepuff created Hufflepuff to take in all the loyal kids who appreciated moral values the most. Students who are hardworking, loyal, and dedicated to their craft are often sorted here. The house has a badger as a symbol and is painted in the colours yellow and black. The motto of the house says, "Honestas ante honores," which roughly means honesty before glory, and it holds true to the house traits. Hufflepuffs are the silent workers in the wizarding world, the underappreciated and often overlooked. They are basically the ones maintaining peace quietly behind the scenes. Their most defining characteristic is unwavering loyalty to their friends, family, and community as a whole. The house focuses on prioritizing inclusivity and fairness, making a home for the students who favor fair treatment for all. Despite these traits, Hufflepuffs rarely seek validation. They stay true to their duty and are the most focused people in the wizarding world. They have an incredible work ethic and go through life by staying true to themselves. While they are often regarded as people with no ambition, that is far from the truth. There are genuinely a lot of famous people from the house that are currently in very high-ranking positions. Whether it was Newt Scamander, who wrote Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, or Nymphadora Tonks, who turned out to be a determined aura. The house has many examples of hard-working people that topped the very strict wizarding world hierarchy. Let's not forget Cedric Diggory, who was the epitome of a good Hufflepuff. He was loyal, fair, brave, and hard-working. On the other side of the spectrum, though, these very defining Hufflepuff traits can often become their biggest weakness. Their strong sense of fairness and desire to give everyone a chance might lead them to trust easily and become manipulated in other people's traps. This inherent goodness can easily manifest as naivety, which clearly isn't a good thing in the innately unforgiving magic world. So, that wraps up our look at all the Hogwarts houses. Now we're curious, have you ever been sorted into your house on Potterhead? If so, which house were you put in? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, Stay curious, stay magical, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wizarding World deep dives.